you've learned three equations. First being ax squared plus bx plus c, your standard equation. Then this one in which your roots are r and s. Yesterday, we worked with h and k, which represents our vertex. Okay? Now, for all of these, well, this one especially, we are to solve it to find out my zeros of my function or my x-intercepts, right? But in order to do that, I need to be able to factor it. So without factoring, what is the alternative? Well, graphing is obviously always the alternative. Because you have your calculators, your decimals, graphing is the easiest way to go with that, all right? However, there is a secondary way in which we can do this if we can't factor it, and that's from this guy right here. So if I have it in standard form, and I want to solve for my zeros here, and I can't factor it, I use what's called a quadratic equation. So the quadratic equation works like this. So again, I'm looking for my x-intercepts and looking for my roots here. It works like this. X is equal to minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay? This is called the quadratic function. And what this allows us to do is solve for these roots, get exact values for these roots, not decimal values, without being able to factor it. So let's have a look at an example here. So I have, I'm going to do it. So the equation they start you with is this one. I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I'm going to change the equation here. Just going to do this. 3x squared plus, do it. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I have 3x squared plus 5x. Can I factor it? No, so I can't find my intercepts that way. So what I'm going to do is I have this in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. What is my a value in that equation? 3. My b value? 5. And my c value? 0. It's not there. 0. Okay? So now I'm going to use my quadratic equation in order to solve this. So I've got x equals minus b, so that's minus 5, plus minus the square root of. Okay? B squared, so 5 squared, which is 25, minus 4 times 3 times 0, all over 2 times 3 equals. Okay? So I simplify in the brackets here. Minus 5 plus minus, well, what is this all equal to? 0. So what am I left with in the brackets? 25, right? So therefore, what is the square root of 25? 5. So that's all over 6. So I have minus 5 plus minus 5 over 6. Now it looks confusing, but what it is here is simply this. I take minus 5, I add 5, and then divide by 6. And then I take minus 5, subtract 5, and divide by 6. Okay? What's minus 5 add 5? 0. 0 over 6? 0. So one of my roots is 0. Right? And my other root is minus 5 subtract 5 is what? Negative 10 over 6. So if I were to reduce that, I would get 0 and minus 5 over 3. Agreed? Yeah? We okay? It's just a simple substitution. Solve inside your square root first. And if your square root does not end up being a whole number, leave it as square root. Leave it as a square root if it doesn't work out. Now, we made one wrong assumption here. Does anybody know what the assumption is that we made that was incorrect?
C equals 0.
Sorry?
That C equals 0.
No, C equals 0 is correct. It's further up the chain here. I stated to you that this wasn't factorable. Indeed, that's incorrect. This is a factorable equation. If I make this 0, which is what I want to do in the first place,
Oh, it's a perfect square.
it's not a perfect square, but you're on the right track. 3x squared plus 5x. What's the very first thing I do when it comes to factoring?
Greatest common factor.
Is there a greatest common factor there?
X.
X. So I could have done this. Like that. What's my answer? X equals 0. X equals negative 5 over 3.
Wow.
Same thing I got down
Good
here.
waste of time.
Oh, what?
Okay.
That's
The time wasted was because we didn't identify that it was factoring. 100% correct. However, the point was we need to be able to do this, and we see that we still get the same solution both ways. Okay? I'm just going to look at one more example here, and then that's all I want for today. And this is for you. Well, this is an interesting one here because it's a word problem. Patricia dives from a platform that is 10 meters high. She reaches her maximum height of 0.5 meters above the platform after 0.32 seconds. How long will Patricia take to reach the water? Okay. So this question here. This one is a little different than anything that you've seen up to this point. Okay, so this is on page 207. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the question like this. I'm going to sketch it. Just a brief sketch. Okay? So across the bottom I'm going to have time. And across here I'm going to have my height. Okay, or up and down vertically, not across, but vertically I'm going to have my height. Patricia dives from a platform that is 10 meters high. So at 0 seconds, where is she located? 10 meters. So right there is 0 and 10, right? And then it says she reaches a maximum height of 0.5 meters above the platform. So a maximum height right here, just leave your pens down for a second and watch, and then I'll leave it up there. The maximum height right here, how long does it take to get to her maximum height? 0. What? 32 seconds. And how high is she actually?
10.5.
10.5 meters, right? So it goes up like this and down like that till she hits the water. Okay. Following so far? Everybody's okay? All right. So we want to find out where she hits the water down here. Okay, we want to find out that amount of time. That's the 0 for the function, right? But in order to do that, if I need to write an equation out. So we need a method in which we can write an equation out. So we can't write it in standard form. We can't really do the root form because we don't know what both the roots are. That's what we're looking for.
Vertex.
So do we have the vertex in this equation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can write it like this. Y equals A. What's my vertex? Squared plus how high?
10.5.
10.5. Can I calculate what A is right now?
Fuzzy.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah?
Coordinate.
Put which coordinate in? I only have one other one, right?
Yeah.
So let's put it in. 10 equals A, 0 minus 0.32 squared, add 10.5. Okay? Okay.
Become very guess.
Okay, just give me 1 minute to finish this question.
We'll go to the last
Okay,
class.
perfect, thanks. Okay, so now I gotta solve for what A is. So I need help here. 0.32 squared is what? calculators out, start helping me, please. Okay,
0.102.
okay, leave that on there, okay? Leave it on there.
1024.
The first thing I want to do is subtract 10.5 over to here. So that gives me minus 0.5 equals A. And what did you say it was?
0.1024.
0.1024?
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks. So now I got to calculate A. How do I do that? Take negative 0.5 and divide it by that value, please.
Negative
Negative 4.883.
882?
3.
Okay, so I have that right there. So my equation then is y equals minus 4.883 x minus 0.32 squared plus 10.5. Now, use your Desmos. Use your Desmos right now and find out what that 0 is. So put that equation into your Desmos.
Would it work if you put the vertex in for your points, as your XY coordinate points?
No.
Instead of, no.
What am I trying to find here?
This 0 right here. How long does it take for it to hit the water? For her to hit the water?
1.786.
1.786?
Yeah.
Perfect, seconds. There's the answer to my question. Okay? There's everything that you've learned up to this point in one question. You had to sketch it a little bit. You needed to use one of the 3 equations. You needed to plug a point in to get your A value. You needed to graph it to solve the rest of the question. That's it. That's all that, everything that you learned is incorporated into this one question. So if you can work through these questions that are like this, you'll be fine. You'll have no problems. Okay? That's it for today. You have math and or physics. Like I said, I'm leaving today. So if you want help with physics, if that's where you're at and your math seems okay, then you can work on that this morning. I will write on a note that you have the opportunity to do math or physics as well tomorrow morning. Okay? Those of you that are just doing math, you can work on 7.8. If you have not finished 7.7, you can finish that and then get to 7.8 tomorrow. So let's have everybody done to 7.8 for Monday. Okay? Yeah, okay. Ooh. So math people, you just keep working. Physics people, I'm going to go through that assignment